Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining NUGGET 2021 today for our 10:30 a.m. session. This session will be covering introducing the ultimate developer sidekick, Prefix Premium, which was recently launched in the middle of September. This session will be led by Prefix Product Manager here at Netrio, Maranda Williams. And if you have any questions for Miranda throughout the session, Miranda will be happy to get those answered for you. Just enter them in the chat section on the right-hand side of your screen. So with that, all systems are go. Miranda, take it away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maranda Williams, and I am the Prefix Product Manager here at Netrio. Thank you all for joining me today for this session on Prefix Premium, the Developer Sidekick. Today, I will be going over what Prefix Premium is, who should be using Prefix Premium, what new features were introduced in version 5.0, go through a live demo of Prefix in action, and answer some of the frequently asked questions. There will be some time at the end where I will be answering any questions that you have. Please do not hesitate to add questions to the chat as we go along. Majority of this presentation will be focused on the Prefix Premium features that are part of a paid subscription. However, I want it to be understood that both the free and premium versions are included in the Prefix download that you grab from our website. I will highlight briefly what the common features the two versions share throughout this presentation. Both Prefix Free and Prefix Premium allow developers to profile their web applications, services, and console applications while they are writing them, giving developers in-depth data on their code and how it is performing. This is why we call it the Developer Sidekick. It should be the helpful companions that developers have up on their second or third monitors while they are coding. Prefix is a native application that is installed on a developer's workstation, meaning their laptop or desktop, and it will run in the background and profile applications as they are being written and tested by the developer. Prefix uses the same lightweight profilers as our APM solution Retrace. This brings the power and insight of APM tool to the very start of the application lifecycle by empowering developers to write bug-free, high-performing applications from the very beginning. Prefix was created by developers for developers. Our developers use Prefix internally as they work on Retrace. The goal is that your code reviews go smoothly, you get less tickets from the QA team, and that production dumpster fires can become a thing of the past. Prefix should only be used on local workstations. Prefix is best suited for the local testing and data ingestion information. For staging and production environments, we recommend that you use Retrace, which is designed to collect and monitor all that higher level data that comes with a deployment pipeline. Information like CPU, requests, and items like that. Prefix can be installed on Mac, Windows, and Linux operating systems. It is also supported by the 6 major coding languages, .NET, Ruby, Python, Java, PHP, and Node.js, so that you and your teams can use one tool no matter what your stack is composed of. Both Prefix Free and Prefix Premium use the same installer and have the same operating system and language support. You only have to add an activation key to use the premium features after your free trial ends. We recently deployed the version 5.0 of Prefix, which includes all the extended Prefix Premium features that I'll be covering as I walk through the demo of Prefix. This is our Prefix application. In here, you can see that I am starting on our summary tab here. This is what we lovingly call the dumpster fire tab because it'll automatically give you the view of what on your application is on fire and help you determine where you should be spending your time to best optimize your applications to improve the use by your consumers. Here we can see that we gather the top requests and list them here. You can do this either by count or by average time. We also show the section of the slowest requests. We show the top dependencies collected as well as the slowest performing dependencies collected. Again, the top dependencies can be by count or by average time. We also gather the top queries collected within the applications being profiled, as well as the slowest performing queries. We do the top web external, the slowest web external, the top cache and slowest cache if any of your applications being profiled use that information, like Redis. And then we also collect the top errors and do this based by the amount of times that it is collected. Each of the summary dashboards on here can be exported as a CSV file. This will allow you to save that information for later, share it out to a work item, or share it with a coworker, or even put it into a report as needed. Within Prefix, we also have this request tab. This is going to be the main source of information. This is where all the requests will be coming in as you are making things happen within your application, as you're either running it or testing it locally. On this tab here, we can see that we have the visualization of data up in the top here in a graph. This is color coded. For example, we have green for database, gray for code, and blue for web external information coming in from the requests. We also show what time each of the requests were taken and give you a view as far as how many requests came in at a time. And then we also show you the amount of time taken for the requests. This view is completely searchable. So if you have specific requests that you are looking for, you can filter them here. You can also export this information to a CSV file as well. This just allows you to save this information of the request being collected. And then that way you can either bring it back into Prefix at a later date to review the information as it was collected, or save it for a work item. As we can see here, I clicked on one of the requests as it happened, and it opened up the trace panel view here. Our trace panel view has a flame graph up at the top, which gives you a visualization of the data being collected for that request. This is also interactive, so if I click on any of the items here, it will take me straight to that item within the trace breakdown so that I can easily find and look at the information that's most important to me. Our trace information is very important and very powerful. Within it, we show all the methods or functions or any of those items being collected from your application that were happening during that request. We also include the information of the SQL queries. If there are any, you can also extend out the SQL queries so that you can see the query parameters. Because Prefix is run locally, you don't have to worry about this information being saved out or any of those things. So you're actually able to view the parameters without any security concerns. You can actually copy the information from this query parameters included to your clipboard. That way that you can paste them into your query editor and replicate that exact query and information when you are trying to troubleshoot what was going on within that SQL query. Within our trace breakdown, we also will show any errors that are happening at the time if they are included within this information, as well as give you the visualization of the timing breakdowns of the requests. At the very bottom with Prefix Premium, you can also see a similar request box. What this will do is show you all the iterations of that request as they happened. So you can tell if the request was happening in different sections of your code or in other applications if they use the same request. You can also see if you found, let's say you found an error within one of these requests, you go into your code and you fix it, and then you come back and run that same request. You can now verify if the code was optimized because that error is now gone, or if the root of the issue was something else and not that actual error. Within here, we also list the dependencies. So what this will show you is the top level host items that the request is dependent on. You can actually click into this, and this will open up a dependency dashboard. So what the dependency dashboard will do is it'll open up a complete new tab, and then it will give you a list of all the requests that are included that are reliant on that host item. And then this just allows you to view that the dependencies, which dependencies are reliant on which hosts, as well as compare how they are functioning. Within our requests, we also do smart suggestions. So if I go out to this request here that has the yellow triangle, this tells me that there is a smart suggestion available. So what these are industry best practices that we have incorporated into the profiler. And this will notify you if you have anything that could be optimized. For example, here I'm being called out for having an N+1 query pattern. So now what I can do is I can go into my code and figure out where the duplicate queries are being called and refactor that so that I can get rid of this n+1 query pattern and hopefully optimize this call and improve the performance of the request for my end users. Within our request as well, we do a color coding for the time that it took. So as we can see here, this one is red, which means that this is a severely long request, which is not optimal for our user experience. Prefix by default uses industry best practices to set these thresholds. If you have Prefix Premium, you're able to go out to our application preferences section. And here we can see the full list of applications that are being collected, and you can either configure your custom thresholds based on specific applications so that they each use different thresholds, or you can set the universal custom threshold here. You can set the warning levels, which will show up as orange timing color coding within a trace breakdown. And then you can also set the threshold level for the severe levels. This just allows you to change these to better fit your own organization's goals if they are more aggressive than these, or if you have any requests that they've been optimized as much as possible and you know that they just take longer, you can make this request a larger time frame so that you're no longer seeing these red flags on items that you know you just can't improve any further. Within Prefix, we also allow you to bring in all of your logs into one consolidated log view here. This will show you visualization as far as the ingestion rate of logs coming from your applications, the time that they were collected, as well as show you the color-coded information for the logging levels as they are brought in. You can also search these. So if you have specific IDs or clients or any items like that that you want to specifically focus on, you can search for it here and it will filter those information out. It is also helpful for showing you what kind of logs you are bringing in from your applications. So I can tell here that I need to do some work as far as my logging framework because I'm not getting any information as far as the stack trace information for my errors. So I need to expand out my logging capabilities there so that I can get more detailed information within the logs here. We also have an errors tab where this will list all the errors for you. So now I can go in here to see what that application log was and expand it out and be able to see the full stack trace information that was collected. You can also copy this out to the clipboard so you can save it out to a Jira ticket to work on later. With Prefix Premium, the nice thing is that we have linked traces. So from any of these tabs, I can click on the trace ID and this will actually open up the trace view here so that I can see when that error happened, the exceptions, and then see all the information of what was happening around it so I can pull any context clues to help me troubleshoot and resolve that error in the future. With the free version of Prefix, the trace tab is only available on the requests view. So this would be the only time that you could actually get the full picture view. But with Prefix Premium, you no longer would have to click back and forth, try and see, okay, this happened at this time, which request was it? Kind of a annoyingness. On the database tab here, you can see that we do show you what kind of queries were being called in, deletes, inserts, selects, updates, or others. Again, this is fully searchable, or you can export these to CSV for later use. We do have the linked tracing option here as well. And you are also able to fully expand each of these so that you can view the specific parameters that were collected for each of those calls. If you have any cache information within your applications, if you're using something like Redis, for example, that information would show up here. My applications, unfortunately, do not have an example of that here. We also do a separate tab for all the web external calls that are happening. This will show you what kind of call they were, what the status code was, and allow you to link open to that trace so that you can see what else was happening around there, or if you're interested in what dependencies were part of that external web request, those are available in that trace view as well. With the popularity of remote drives as well as VMs and containers, We do also have the option for adding additional watch files. So if we go out to the preferences section here within the Prefix app, and then go to the watched folder section, here you can see that this is where we automatically put the prefix specific logs that we use for profiling, and these are locked. You can go in here and add a folder that will go to either your Docker container or Kubernetes, or if you have a VM that you are able to access the log files for, you can pull those log files into this watched folder area, and then that will allow you to pull that information to be profiled or the logs within here so that you have it all in one view in Prefix, so you can see it all in one place and easily access and profile your logs and requests coming from those files. The additional benefit of having Prefix Premium over Prefix Free is that Prefix Free is only available for a 30-minute window. So you will have very limited data and very little time as far as being able to troubleshoot that information. With Prefix Premium, you actually have up to 7 days worth of data so that you can go off to lunch and be able to come back and not worry about missing any of the important data or losing your errors that you were trying to troubleshoot. Right, and that concludes my demo of the live walkthrough of Prefix Premium. So some of our frequently asked questions that we have is, one, how do I get started with Prefix? You can actually follow our documentation page, which is on docs.stackby.com, where we have a specific Prefix Getting Started section, which will walk you through where and how to install the proper Prefix application based on your operating system, as well as how to configure your application to be profiled based on the language that you code in. We also walk through how to ensure that Prefix is working properly and if there's any known troubleshooting steps that you can follow. Prefix Premium is available as a subscription-based license for only $20 a month per seat. There's no limit to the number of seats that you can add to your subscription, and seats should be equal to or greater than the number of development stations you wish to have Prefix Premium on. Every download of Prefix will include the 14-day trial of Prefix Premium features so that you can become familiar with them and test them out with your own applications. Another question that we get asked a lot is, can I use Prefix on a server? And the answer is no. Prefix is only meant for your local environment so that it can pull in the basic information and be able to have all the data that you need without a high overhead. For staging and production environments, we recommend that you use Retrace to fill out the rest of your development cycle. Another question that we get asked a lot is, where can I find more information on Prefix? Our website has a lot of great information on the Prefix webpage. This will be where you can download Prefix for installation. And this also includes a demo by the godfather of Prefix, Dan Gidman. We also have a lot of blogs about all things Prefix, Retrace, and Developer. This will give you information about our products, the best practices for coding, as well as industry tidbits. We also host a lot of informational and troubleshooting videos on our YouTube channels, where you can see the products in action. And then we also have a vast source of documentation on our website as well, where you can go back to that docs.stackby.com and find information on both Retrace and Prefix. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today, and I hope that you enjoyed this presentation on Prefix Premium. I'd like to take this time to open the floor to any questions that you may have, and I will be answering them in the chat. Thank you.